Hey, everybody. It is your friend CL King coming to you live from the High Definition Studios here in Impactville. I am sitting in the legendary Ruth E. Plowden Legacy Chair. She's my foster mom, raised over 83 foster kids over 30 plus years, and I was her favorite. Yeah, we got a good conversation tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in. Let's just see who's joining me out here in Impactville in the live environment. As you guys know, we do things more than just one way. MB is in the house, Mike Black. Got to get you in the live studios, brother. I'm going to bring this soundboard over to you once I learn the new one. VP in the house. The two gentlemen that are in covenant business partnership with me. They just want to make sure that they're around for when we make that next million, right? So how's everybody's, is today Monday, guys? How's everybody's Monday doing? Our Monday here at Impactville is going great. We don't let outside noise affect us. Man, we have one singular purpose, and that is to make an impact on one life, one day at a time. Now, that does not mean that we are not human. And I'm going to talk about that tonight. If you would like to become a sponsor of Impacting Life 24/7, just go to clkingspeaker.com. Scroll down to the bottom. And at the end of the show tonight, we'll be showing you our sponsor video. Thanking all of our sponsors for what they do to help us to do what we do. So if you happen to just be passing by and you're like, man, I want to find out what all this impact, is about. This is what we do, baby. Yeah, an international podcast right here from Impactville. How does that work, huh? And so I don't have to wait. We don't have to wait around to be on somebody else's platform. I don't say that arrogantly. We just decided we was going to build our own bricks, make our own wall, and climb over it. Yeah, baby. All right, so welcome, ladies and gentlemen, again to Impacting Life 24/7 with your host, CL King. Got the crew in the background, Greg Smith, Mike Black, people passing through. And if you're passing through, why don't you do me a favor? Why don't you just say hello, let us know where you're watching from. We would appreciate that. And this Impacting Life 24/7 podcast is downloaded in 46, almost 47 states, over 30 countries, and it's carried on over 30 different platforms around the world. So we decided to do this. Every time that we come on the air, we're just going to do our mission. We're going to focus on what we have to do in front of us, and that is to make an impact on people's lives. You guys realize we're approaching 300 shows? I know it's hard to believe. So anyway, I want to get right to it tonight because 7 to 7:30 is our showtime, Monday night, Tuesday night, and Thursday night. And so we've got to be mindful of my time as well as our staff's time and your time. We shortened it down to 30 minutes just because we just wanted to get in, get out, give you some impact, and bounce. Even when we have guests on, we're just going to make our shows very intentional, and that's just something that we decided on. Mike Black is our co-host. Greg is our VP. And the way we're structured is of Impacting Life 24/7 LLC, the president, CL King, the executive officer, Mike Black, and the vice president, Gregory Smith. That's right. We're 1/3 partners in Impacting Life 24/7 LLC. That's what we are. It's not just something that we're doing for a hobby anymore, ladies and gentlemen. So when you call and you say, can you provide these services? Yes, we can, but there is an invoice associated with it, okay? You don't go into Walmart and say, hey, look, can we get these bananas on the house? Those days just are not fair to us anymore. We have put in the work. We've traveled over 6,000 miles. We've spoken in over 300 plus locations. We've done almost 300 podcasts, coached dozens and dozens of coaching seminars and sessions. Both Mike and I are finishing our book. Greg has already finished his book. You can see it right there behind me. Paul Katrina McCain, who's on our team, has finished her book. So we're not just a bunch of people looking for something to do. If you like what we have, then let's connect. Let's brainstorm. So, there's 2 million red blood cells rejuvenated or revitalized in your body every second. There's 2 million red blood cells that are replenished or revitalized or rejuvenated in your body every second. Did you know that? 2 million. And what I wanted to talk to you tonight, I wanted to talk to you specifically about the need for replenishment. Replenishment is not just something that when we think about, you take one off the shelf and then you put another one back. In the supply chain management world, that's what we think about when we think about replenishment. We think about making sure that in the just-in-time order fulfillment environment, that when we pull one off the shelf, that there will be another one there for when the next customer pulls one off the shelf. But I'm talking to you a little bit more detailed about replenishment for yourself. Okay, we deal with a lot of content creators, impactors, people out here writing books, working podcasts, having their own shows on speaker circuits, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Coaches. I mean, everybody's a coach now. So, but we have people who are out here really trying to pursue the American dream. They're trying to find their niche in life and work that thing. And I'm like, go get it. But here's what I'm understanding. That we must be aware that this carcass that we drag around from place to place, called our human body, we need to identify that replenishment for us is essential. Whether you're a faith believing person or not, it is clear that replenishment is an actual real thing, and it's in nature. So if I can't catch you with the spiritual side of it, I can definitely catch you with the human nature side of it. Replenishment happens in bodies of water. Did y'all know that? Did y'all know that replenishment happens in bodies of water? Just think about the Great Lakes. Okay, there's 5 Great Lakes. The way you can remember the 5 Great Lakes is keyword homes, Homes, Huron, Ontario, Michigan, Erie, and Superior. Yes, that's not in my show notes, ladies and gentlemen. I just remembered that because as a speaker, I just accumulate useless information to share with people to sound smart. Yeah, the 5 Great Lakes replenish themselves. The longest time of replenishment is Lake Superior. It takes 191 years for all of the water to cycle through and start over. But it is a process essential for the sustainment of Lake Superior. Lake Michigan is 99 years. It takes 99 years for that entire body of water to replenish itself. Lake Huron, it takes 22 years. 22 years for Lake Huron to replenish itself. Lake Ontario, up there in the state of Canada, old Canada, it takes 6 years. And in my former hometown of Cleveland, Ohio, which has the lake called Erie and the tower that's called Terminal, it takes 3 years of replenishment time for Lake Erie to replenish itself. In nature, ladies and gentlemen, replenishment is a natural phenomenon. Even the Great Lakes themselves recognize that replenishment is essential. And what I see myself, others who are in this space of helping other people, what we find ourselves doing sometimes is running on empty, and we think that's cool. Right? We say, man, well, if I just push a little harder, if I just grind a little longer, I'm all about the grind. I got a whole training on it, right? But if I just expend myself till there's absolutely nothing left, and then I go even more without pausing to replenish, you're not doing the people you serve a service, and you're not doing yourself and your family a service. You're doing everyone a disservice when you continue to produce the same stagnant water over and over and over. Replenishment, ladies and gentlemen, is powerful. You must take time to replenish. And as I gave you an indication of the 5 different Great Lakes and how the time period takes for them, the labor that it takes, the churning and disruption of the water that it takes for them to replenish themselves, to dispel of the old and to intake the new, you must be aware of your replenishment cycle. I'm talking to you tonight about replenishment. You must be aware of your replenishment cycle. What does it take? How long does it take? How many things do you have to say yes to before you finally get to the point where you say no? Replenishment is in nature. Your blood, 2 million red blood cells replenish themselves every second. The 5 Great Lakes take in excess of 191 years, all the way down to 3 years to replenish themselves. But I wanted to show you that it's not just the Great Lakes, because there are other bodies of water that do the exact same thing. I was looking at this and I was blown away. There's a lake in Switzerland called the Stausee-Ferdin Lake, and that's in Switzerland. Ferdin Valleys, and it takes 36 hours to replenish. It's a small lake. It's a lake nonetheless. And it takes 36 hours, Mr. VP, for it to replenish. There's another lake in Switzerland called Lake Wolhan, and its location is in Canton of Bernay. And that's also in Switzerland. It takes 2.1 days to replenish. It's important that you understand that replenishment is in nature. And sometimes we ignore the call of replenishment. We go. We got to fulfill. We got a check box. We got our list. We got our to-do list. We got things to do. We got to go here. We got to go there. We got to go baseball, soccer, choir practice, rehearsal, everything. And we forget about this one little R word in our life that God placed in us called replenishment. If your blood cells know that they must be replenished, if Lake Erie knows that it takes 36 months for it to replenish, then why do we think that we can just go and take on life's challenges with absolutely no replenishment, with no purposeful replenishment? There are lakes that take upwards of years to replenish. I saw one on here that really blew my mind as we start getting into different lakes. Lake Orchid, that's in the Republic of Macedonia, takes 70 years to replenish. Lake Oregon, that's in the United States, it takes 157 years to replenish. Y'all ready for this one? Lake Baikal, that's in Russia, it takes 330 years for it to replenish. Shall we continue? Lake Tahoe, California, in Nevada, it's in the United States, but it takes 650 years for all of the old to be recycled, and replenishment takes 650 years. It's a time that you have to be cognizant of, and you can't disrupt that time. Lake Quabain in Russia takes 2,000 years to fully replenish, and the longest in the world is Lake Vostok. That is found in Antarctica. it takes 13,300 years to replenish. But it won't let anything get in its way. At the 13,299th year, it's not going to allow your agenda or your program or whatever to prevent it from fully replenishing itself, because it knows the value of replenishment. And I challenge you tonight. I wanted to come to talk to you from a more practical perspective, that, we make it look easy. Always seeing lives. People talk to me. I see them out in town, Greg, and they're like, man, I'm seeing you on Facebook all the time. I see you here all the time. Mike teases me all the time, man, King, do you ever not record something? Because in this business, if you don't record it, if you don't have a picture, it didn't happen. But here's what I'm recognizing also, that replenishment is essential. It's essential for it to go through its entire process. See, that they looked at the millions and billions and trillions of gallons of water in Lake Vostok in Antarctica, and found out that for it to be completely replenished, out with the old and in with the new, will take 13,300 years. And it will not rush the process of replenishment. Mike, how often do we just continue to go and go? We're going to take this gig. We're going to take this job. We're going to go here. We got to fit in family time. Then we're going to go out to dinner. We're going to go to the movies. Then we're going to go. And we don't sit back and say, this body was designed to replenish itself. But if I shortcut the system, if I shortcut this mechanism that God has placed into every single breathing human being, if I forget about replenishment, I'm going to have part good and I'm going to have part bad dwelling in the same place. And the Bible says bitter water and sweet water can't come out the same fountain. You take a jar, ladies and gentlemen. You take a container of water. And if this water isn't stirred, if it isn't sent to another location for a different purpose, and you just leave it to sit here, it will stagnate. It will. It won't fulfill its purpose. This water must be replenished. Out with the old and in with the new. I want to tell you that there are a few things, man, where time flies when you're really doing this. I love how fast the time flies now. There are ways that you got to replenish yourself. And there are 5 areas that I feel like that if you do these, you won't replenish. Okay? There are 5 areas that I feel like if you do these 5 things, you won't replenish yourself. You won't be fulfilled. You won't be renewed. You won't be replenished. The first thing is that focusing on what you can't control. That's right, Greg. You deserve a vacation. You should have took one a long time ago. Out with the old, in with the new. Replenishment. Here's one way that if you do this, you won't be replenished. If you focus on things that you can't control. Right? If you consume yourself with the stuff that you can't affect. See, when Lake Erie knows that the lake effect snow comes and the lake freezes over and it's in year 1.5, it just continues to do what it was created to do. Whether it's frozen, whether it's 95 degrees outside, whether it's raining, whether it's storming, it knows that in due season, it will replenish, but it's in its season of replenishment. And that's where we miss it, is that we don't realize that replenishment, ladies and gentlemen, is not just an instant thing. This is a season. Secondly, one way that you're going to not replenish yourself is to hold on to stuff that you thought would happen. Thinking about what you thought would take place. Thinking about how you thought things would end. I'm terrible at this, guys. I struggle with that one. Thinking about, man, what could have been? What was I supposed to be? You'll never replenish yourself into what you're supposed to be if you're constantly thinking about what you could have been, or thinking about what you thought might happen. You'll never replenish yourself if you don't ask for help. I've thought about that. Listen to me as I teach you. I got a book that's due out July 24th. And I've thought many times, let me ask for some help with this book. I got a staff, a team, we working together, collaborating and making things happen. At the end of the day, I still got to write the book, right? And I struggle because I know that the deadline is important. But I also have, alluded to the fact that, man, if we miss the deadline by 30 days, I just want y'all to know that I need y'all to help me make it to the next benchmark, make it to the next deadline. Where you don't replenish yourself is when you don't ask for help. And Lord knows I need help. Because here's the reality. Life circumstances happen. Situations take place. And you could be on a major trajectory. You cooking along, and this is like my case, writing this book, coming along, bam, 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 and then boom, life slaps you in the face with something that you were not prepared for. Does that ever happen to anybody out there? And so there are days, I'll just be very transparent with you. There are days when I don't feel like writing a single word. There are days when I don't feel like being a motivator. There are days when I don't want to come on here and do a podcast. I don't want to have any guests. Life has a tendency to slap you in the face, and you realize, oh. But another way that you won't replenish yourself is to constantly listen to what's inside these two ears. Because sometimes you can get into your own head. Sometimes you can make things worse than what they really are. Is that not true? So that's the fourth one, man. Don't get inside your own head. And then the last one is, don't take yourself so seriously. I mean, take seriously what you got to do. Be about your business, but don't take yourself so seriously that you can't laugh and even laugh at yourself. Give you a few steps for replenishing yourself. Number one, instead of complaining, focus on the power that's in your control. Starting with your own thoughts and feelings. Listen, when somebody does you wrong, you have the power and control of how you will think and how you will feel. Those thoughts will be essential to your replenishment. Something happens to you wrong, somebody does you wrong, instead of complaining about it, instead of getting down on, instead of feeling sorry for yourself, the truth is that you got to start with your own thoughts and your own feelings. Secondly, find things to laugh at. I find that laughter is very, very powerful. It's powerful. Laughter is powerful, even when you're laughing at yourself. We professional now. We got thousands of dollars in equipment, lighting, sound. Just got a new soundboard, thanks to in part to our sponsors and all this kind of stuff. We high rollers now, but you're right. You can laugh at yourself still. Stop and appreciate what you have right now. Okay, because replenishment is a season, including the lessons learned along the way. Replenishment is a season. And if you're Lake Erie, Don't try to be Lake Huron. And if you're Lake Huron, don't try to be Lake Erie. If you're Lake Superior and you up here trying to be Lake Ontario, Lake Superior, it takes 191 years to replenish. And Lake Ontario, it takes 6. To everything, there is a season. There is a purpose under heaven. Listen, so I have to recognize what my replenishment point is. I have to recognize when I have a bunch of stagnated water in my life. I have to recognize that my season is 3 years. Mike Black's season might be 99 years. Greg's season might be 6 years. Joe Blow's down the road might be 191 years. And I have to embrace that season. I'm challenging you to understand that replenishment is essential. Another thing to do is to detach. Detach. I was doing this every year until I started this business. And I feel like I can't walk away, but I need to do it again. Detach. Take a 30-day social media detachment. Or if you can't do 30, do 15, do 10, do 5. I'm telling you, the amount that will be replenished in your life, you will realize that you can sit down at the dinner table and not check your phone. You could sit across from your beloved spouse and not have to make an update. You won't have to take a picture of your food. You'll just enjoy and embrace the moments. I look back and I think about the times when I was trying and fumbling to get my phone and I missed getting my phone. So guess where the moment is etched and embossed? Right here in your mind and in your heart, which is truly what makes up a man or a woman. It's not how many videos or pictures that you have. Listen, my business kind of depends on that. So I understand the value of it, if you will. But I also understand that one way for you to replenish, because we're talking about replenishment tonight, one way for you to replenish is to detach from the stimulation of this world. Like everything is a stimulus. Everything you got to get an update on. Everything has got to be a tick mark. Everything has got to be a vibration. The way you can replenish yourself is to cut yourself off from that. Greg says 2 days seems to help me. And that's good. You know, like I said, I do it every January, 30 days. And when I come back, I almost feel like I feel kind of self-righteous. Like, why was I posting all of this stuff? You know what I mean? What value truly was I adding to show you that I just was outside cutting the back lawn? You know, and that's just the way our society is. I understand it. I'm not trying to take you back to the caveman days. I get it. But at the same time, you got to replenish, and you got to know your replenishment season. If the Great Lakes know it, if the blood vessels in your body know it, if the trees know that there's got to be a time for replenishment, they got to shake off the old foliage and wait around through the winter, knowing that there will be new leaves and new fruit on their limbs, then certainly we as human beings, creators of content, business leaders, moms and dads, can understand the value of replenishment. I think God said his seed is in itself. God himself was interested in replenishment. And we sometimes, here's the point, we sometimes give and pour and pour and pour and give and pour and go and speak and Zoom and, right? We go and go and go, and we never get replenished. Never. I'm challenging you. Get replenished. All right. Don't run yourself into the ground. Replenishment, ladies and gentlemen, is powerful. All right. So with that, I'm going to give you a word from our sponsors. Thank you for tuning in to Impacting Life 24/7 with your host, CL King. Come back tomorrow night for another dynamic, exciting episode. And we thank you so much. I'm going to share my screen with you real quick so that everybody could see these amazing sponsors. This is the second half of our sponsorship commercial. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your support. Thanks to all of our sponsors. They have really made this thing happen. Love you and appreciate you. Our Impacting Life 24/7 sponsors have helped us go where no podcast has gone before. Platinum sponsors. Poet Katrina McCain is the author of Because She Decided to Love. This book is a collection of poetry and prose about love and its important impact on every relationship. This raw and uncut poetry book addresses the themes of how we experience love through loss, hurt, pain, grief, and passion. Connect with her and get your copy of this book at PaulKatrinaMcCain.com. Donald Skip Mondragon, MD, is a 26-year Army veteran, National Veterans Wrestling Champion, and speaker. He is the author of Wrestling Depression is Not for Wimps. Lessons learned from an amateur wrestler's fight to triumph over depression. Contact him at WrestlingIsNotForWimps.com. The Underdog Ninja Foundation. This was founded in 2020 by Javi and Jessica Madrigal, a husband and wife team that have been battling and overcoming heart disease for over 18 years. Their personal story and experiences have led them to follow their calling of empowering, educating, and supporting those fighting heart disease. Contact this amazing team at UnderdogNinja.com. Belinda Tyson Linder. She has spent decades investing in people from all different walks of life. She has led inner city programs for disadvantaged youth, as well as been a mentor to young adults, married couples, and individuals facing adversity. Belinda and her husband have built multiple 6- and 7-figure businesses and have trained leaders on having tenacity and character in business. Ultimately, Belinda cares about people and shows the love of God to everyone she encounters. Bettina Carey. Bettina Carey is the diminutive 4'9.5" Latina. She inspires and empowers women to create big results. They break through. No, they shatter their earnings glass ceilings. They kick self-imposed limitations to the curb and live their legacies now. Whether she's coaching from a live or virtual stage or conferring with a small cohort of bold women and men on the rise at a conference table, her championship strategies say you can win today. Contact her at WeEmpowerYourLife.com. If you would like to become a sponsor of Impacting Life 24/7, reach out to CLKingspeaker.com. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Reach out to CLKingspeaker.com. Thank you for tuning in to Impacting Life 24/7. We'll see you tomorrow night, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Take care.